If you don't know who Donnie Yen is, we're going to fix that right now. You've certainly seen Yen briefly in the recent teaser trailer for Rogue One, a Star Wars story, a franchise he actually gave a run for its money in Asia when Star Wars The Force Awakens went up against his latest film, Ip Man 3. I was so impressed with Ip Man 3, and not only Yen's martial arts abilities but his acting, that I finally watched the first Ip Man from 2008 this past weekend. And well, if you watch that movie, which you should, I think you'll agree Yen should have been the star of Rogue One rather than Rey 2.0, or is that Beta Rey since Rogue One is a prequel. Anyway, Yen is an international superstar everywhere but the United States, thanks to the Ip Man movies, even getting fan phone calls from Robert Downey Jr., who himself studies the form of martial arts that Ip Man devoted his life to, Wing Chun. For a long time, it was Ip Man's student Bruce Lee who popularized Wing Chun, but today it is Donnie Yen and his Ip Man movies who've inspired hundreds of Wing Chun schools to open their doors in Asia and abroad. What's the appeal? Well, not only is Donnie Yen badass in these films, but the national pride in the first Ip Man movie, where China is occupied by the Japanese, Asia's Nazis, is powerful. In one scene, after defeating several Japanese soldiers in their karate with his Wing Chun, the Japanese demand to know Ip Man's name, who has come to them as a simple hard laborer. He turns and tells them, "I am a Chinese man." Wow! I wish I'd been in a packed Chinese theater to hear the crowd's response. Furthermore, echoing that martial arts is as much about philosophy as it is fighting prowess, Donnie Yen's Ip Man is like if you took Jimmy Stewart and taught him martial arts, or Bing Crosby's Father O'Malley. There's a humble goodness and moral center to Yen's Ip Man, which is rarely celebrated these days, which is perhaps why this character has become a beacon of light to so many. And fascinatingly, Yen himself started out in life like the young thugs Ip Man often finds himself fighting. Born in China, then moving to Hong Kong, Yen's family eventually settled in Boston. But his mother, a Tai Chi grandmaster, and his father, a newspaper editor, were dismayed when Yen dropped out of school at 14 to focus on studying martial arts and hanging out in Boston's worst neighborhood, the Combat Zone, which was full of strip clubs and crime. So, Fresh Prince style, his mom and dad got scared, saying, "You're moving to Beijing to join their wushu team." And much like Will Smith's character and Will Smith, it changed Yen's life. Yen's more serious martial arts studies started a chain reaction which led to him meeting Hong Kong action choreographer Yuen Woo-ping, who would become his mentor, as well as fellow future action star Jet Li, who also trained in Beijing. Winning Yuen Woo-ping's open talent search in the early 1980s, Yen was signed to a 4-picture deal, with his first film being Drunken Tai Chi. His mom must have been proud because remember, she's a Tai Chi grandmaster. He also appeared in Once Upon a Time in China 2 opposite Jet Li, who starred. Yen then got the lead in the Hong Kong TV series Fist of Fury, playing famed character Chen Zhen, first portrayed by Bruce Lee and then Jet Li. But then, while his contemporaries Jet Li and Jackie Chan transitioned to Hollywood as big stars, Yen found himself going to Hollywood under different circumstances. His production company, Bullet Films, made films that were critically acclaimed but financial flops, and he was bankrupt. Like, no kidding, I don't have money for food, bankrupt. Desperate for cash, Yen took work in Hollywood not as the star he was in Hong Kong, but as a fight choreographer for movies like Highlander Endgame, Blade 2, and Stormbreaker. To make matters worse, while an action choreographer in China fully directs said action sequences, taking over for the director, in Hollywood Yen had no such artistic control. Still, directors were so impressed with his work, both on their films and by his reputation, they often gave him cameos. And during this period, Jet Li and Jackie Chan tried to help Yen as well, insisting he be cast in Li's hero in Chan's Shanghai Nights. Then, after Yuen Woo-ping had gotten him started, Yen found another creative partner, Wilson Ip. Yes, it turns out in every movie industry, it's important for an actor to find the right director to team up with. After making several films together starting in 2005, they quickly had a huge hit in 2007 with Flashpoint. The popularity of that film gave Yen and Ip the collateral they needed to make their most ambitious film yet, Ip Man, which as you now know has become an international sensation and three-picture franchise. Yen's own star power in Asia was further cemented with two hit comedies as well as Monkey King 3D, one of the few films to join China's Billion Yuan Club. Yen even did his former mentor Yen Wu-ping a solid, agreeing to co-star in his Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon sequel for the Weinstein Company and Netflix. A la Steven Soderbergh, Yen has flirted with retirement, or at least dialing it back a little as he gets older and wishes to spend more time with his family. But then Hollywood is finally calling, and with serious offers, as Yen did turn down a role in The Expendables 2 a few years ago. Not only will Yen play a supporting role in Rogue One, but he'll play the main villain opposite Vin Diesel in X: The Return of Xander Cage. Now, that last one might not seem all that different from The Expendables 2, but at least Yen will be surrounded here by a cast of current stars and up-and-comers. Yen has also become a huge supporter of mixed martial arts, using it in his non-Ip Man movies. And not only is he an expert in wushu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, judo, taekwondo, kickboxing, boxing, and more, in fact, he only learned Wing Chun when he decided to play Ip Man, but he's also become a huge UFC fan. Michelle Yeoh says he's the fastest martial artist she's ever worked with, and both Jackie Chan and Jet Li have said he's the best fighter in practical combat in the entire Asian cinematic universe. Translation: Donnie Yen can fight you for reals. And keep in mind, the guy is 52! So as you wait for Rogue One and X: The Return of Xander Cage, go watch the Ip Man movies, as well as Yen's other top films, all listed below, as well as links to his social media. There's no Twitter in China. Let's get Donnie Yen the number of followers he deserves. I'm Grace Randolph, and you're watching Beyond the Trailer. You can watch more episodes right now.